Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today on these workshops about the inclusion of refugees through sport. At the end of 2021, there were 90 million forcibly displaced people in the world. And that figure increased to 108 million in 2022. And today the estimate is that more or around 114 million of displaced people all over the world. And this is the result of conflict, violation of human rights, violence, persecution, and also, more increasingly, of natural disasters due to climate change. Out of these 114 million, more than 35 million, almost 40, are refugees. And more than 50% of them are coming from Syria, Palestine, Ukraine, and Afghanistan alone. And we will hear the stories of people from these areas today. These countries are followed as well by conflict and insecurity in other parts of the world, such as Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, and Myanmar. Most refugees and displaced people stay close to their countries as much as possible. 70% of the refugees in 2022 were hosted by neighboring countries. So being Turkey and Jordan, the countries that host the majority of refugees in the world, followed by Uganda, Pakistan, and in Europe by Germany. But regardless of the host community, many refugees struggle to integrate in the new communities. And this is because of racism, discrimination, intolerance, and even violence against refugees. And this is only adding more pressure to already very extreme circumstances that they have. And it's also adding more pressure to the coping mechanisms that they need. But however, it is possible to rebuild and build bridges. And we are here because we believe that sport can play a key role. And if used as a universal language, we can create safe spaces and can bring communities together. So this is what we are going to be talking today about. And to start, I would like to give the floor to Jakub Kalinowski from V4Sport in Poland.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, hello everyone. The truth is that the real title of my presentation, it's called Mission Impossible, because I was given 5 minutes to talk about a project so complex that it's taking place in over 24 months period. So I'll be very brief, and for those who, and I hope that my presentation will spark an interest in those of you who actually work in the space of integration of refugees through sport, and I'll be more than happy to discuss or answer any of your questions you might have after the presentation. So I think you all remember 20 months ago, millions of Ukrainian refugees have been crossing borders. Most of them have come to Poland as the first country to receive the refugees, but also to countries like Romania, for example. And we were happy to be part, and still happy to be part of the ISKA family, not just a member, but ISKA family that facilitated and prepared and helped us to develop a project around the integration of refugees through sport. So together with representatives of great 6 organizations that you can see on this slide, and representatives are also here in this room, we were able to develop and now implement the project that helps us in Poland, but also our friends in Romania, to integrate the Ukrainian refugee children through sport. And just to briefly tell you, there's been a great work done by all of our project partners that can be downloaded, and it's accessible online. But just to give you a bit of an idea on how we work. So for example, in Poland, we have started with combining 4 elements. So the integration, education, physical activity, and entertainment. So we've designed a specific curriculum, specific content, a story that we invited 40 schools in Poland to participate in over a 10 months period. And everything is around to create spaces, create the moments when the Ukrainian children who go to Polish schools can do things together with their Polish colleagues while being physically active, while learning not only about Ukrainian kids learning about Poland, but also about the Polish kids learning more about Ukraine. And this is at the heart of our project. So we've developed a lot of content, and we are now thinking about translating this and scaling up and implementing also in Romania. We've developed quite a lot of different materials that help the teachers in the classrooms to activate the kids and get them together, working together. So we develop both online content and also offline content that is downloadable, specific games and plays. Kids can participate together. In our narrative, the kids become the detective. They have to solve different riddles, different puzzles, and they have to do it together. They discover 10 different cities in Poland and Ukraine, which they visit throughout the course of the project participation. And just to give you, I think pictures speak so much better than the words. So I'll show you a bit of what the project implementation looks like in schools. So here we have classrooms where kids are moving to the video content that we have produced that is educational and entertaining. Here are some of the IDs, detective IDs that the kids have produced for themselves as they are part of the adventure. Same ones for Ukrainian and the Polish kids. We observed and see that there's many teachers who go beyond what is expected in the project. They produce their own content, their additional materials, as you can see also on some of those pictures here. So yes, we're very happy. We're very happy that we can support and help, even in a little way, to ease the integration of Ukrainian kids with the Polish schools. There are classes in Poland when there's 2 Ukrainian kids in the classroom, but there's also classes where there's about 10 to 15 Ukrainian kids. Our teachers don't speak Ukrainian, they don't speak Russian, and many of the Ukrainian kids do. So we believe that being active, doing things together is the best language that brings kids together. And by having fun, they create those very important bonds that help them to navigate through this very difficult period. And just to close it up with a slogan, some of you might remember in 2012, Poland and Ukraine, the 2 countries, we have co-hosted the European Championship in football, right? It was quite of a unique situation. And the main slogan for that event was creating history together. So we say we want to create future together, because there's many Ukrainian kids, Ukrainian families who will stay in Poland for a longer period of time, and we want to help them as much as we can. So my alarm clock just went off. Katarina raised her hand, so thank you very much. And yes, and if you want to learn anything more, please come to me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kuba. So I'm going to invite you all to stand up and go into the back of the room. And our friends from Football Mass, who are there in the back, are going to give you the instructions, so we follow them. Welcome back. I hope that you enjoy the little activity. And as you said, sport is a universal language. So it's a tool for talk to each other, to communicate with each other, even if we are using different languages. So this is going to be one of the themes of our panel today. I'm going to introduce you to the panelists, who are going then to do each of them a presentation of their organization, a brief one, only 3 minutes. So starting from over there, we have Edelmira Campos Núñez, yes, Edelmira Campos, Assistant External Relations Officer of the UNHCR Spain. We have Alexandra Boliak, Secretary General of Ukraine Active. We have Ebrahim Pistad, Law and Political General Science graduate from Afghanistan. Perrine Mardinet, International Monitor and Evaluation Manager of Football Mass Global. And Hamad Al-Karouf, Senior Manager at Generations for Peace in Jordan. So thank you very much. And I'm going to invite you now, guys, to do your presentations. And I would like to start with you, Ibrahim.
Hola, good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to tell you to welcome and so happy to see you. Happy faces in here, the people who interest and listen to the refugees and the deport or athletic. My name is Ibrahim Pishtaz. I am from Afghanistan. I have 27 years old and I came in Spain in 2022 as a refugee. I had studied in my country's law and political science and 2 years IT, international technology, and worked with the organizations such as WFP, UNAMA, WFP, World Vision, and with the government of Afghanistan, national ID card, and the commissioner of the election in Afghanistan. I planned many years to organize my life and can do help for my country, for my people. But unfortunately, some war started in my country and I obligate to come in here. This is me, a simple boy with a normal life in my country. I was passing my life so good. I was playing football and everything was good until this, I want to say, animals come in my country and do something that we forced and become obligated to go out and came in here. And when I arrived in here, I was just able to talk a little English and the different culture, it was so hard for me to start from zero and continue. This is the photos of Taliban, how they trade and how we escape. This photo is also so important. This is a military airplane that make us forced to sit in airplane like 400 people and go out from the country. Then when I came, I arrived in here, I start to learning Spanish and playing football. One of the best habits of me and I love it a lot. I start playing football in here with the support and assist of organizations such as ACNUR, Mas Football, Red Deportivo, Pinardi, and Federation Football of España. This is our team. We were in Unity Cup in Almania. And I am playing with the Dragon Lava Piesaki in here, a local team. And fortunately, I can find a way to do it more professional. I'm playing as captain of the Spain national refugee team now. And it's so good for me, and I'm happy to start a new life in here. And I hope, I wish, with your assist, with the people who work for us and know how a refugee is and how is our emotional. And I want to say thank all of you to assist us, and thank you.
Thank you, Ibrahim, for sharing your story. Edelmira. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes? Okay. Okay. So, yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Edelmira Campos. I work for UNHCR. UNHCR is a UN agency that protects refugees around the world. As Elena mentioned, the number of displaced population nowadays goes beyond 114 people in the world, mostly within the borders of their own countries, and some cross the border. I would say 35, 40, as you mentioned, are refugees. I will start with a very short video. It's no language, no speaking video of 1 minute before continuing. Help, please. Oh. So no video, my presentation will be much shorter. So for UNHCR, sport is a tool for protection. So we have developed 2 elements to help practitioners and professionals to better protect refugees through sport. These are our strategy, More Than a Game, where you can see what we think that could be used to protect refugees in different contexts, in emergencies, but also in other contexts like the European one. And then a toolkit, with some ideas on how you can design activities depending on the context you live or you work. Both documents can be downloaded from the internet. Okay. Why do we say that sports have to protect? Because like for everybody, it promotes our well-being, psychological and physical well-being. This is for all us in the room. But for refugees, that also helps them to integrate socially and to make part of the society, promoting the cohesion of the society. I'm doing my best, huh? Now, how from UNHCR we promote these kind of activities? I would like to mention 6 of them. The first one is by supporting the refugee Olympic team. We do it since 2016. It's a big thing, but this is also for elite sport people, which is not necessarily the majority of us. But we also promote smaller activities. We can see the race of the women's race in Spain. We, for example, provide the participation, the free participation of women and girls in these races in the different parts of the country. We also count on different goodwill ambassadors to bring the message to the whole population. I mean, there are many athletes that are refugees or that have been displaced in the world, in their life, that can tell about what they have gone through and reach, let's say, people that we not necessarily reach from an international organization like the UN. Or we can also have our logo on the t-shirt of the Barca team, so everybody sees what is UNHCR and might get interested about what we do. We also promote the Unity Euro Cup, and then you can see Ibrahim on the first row in the picture in the middle with the number 9, really representing his refugee team in Germany and competing with other teams, and really, like, you got a very, very good score, huh? And now you're like a leader. So these are the kind of activities that we support. The last part of this introduction is to talk about something different, like policy making. We organize every 4 years a Global Refugee Forum, where we try to mobilize pledges to protect refugees from different perspectives. This year, in December, we will have our second Refugee Forum. The idea is to try to gather professionals and that can present activities that can help, that can protect refugees through sports, and the multi-stakeholder pledge called Sport for Inclusion and Protection. I don't want to take longer in my presentation, but in the coffee break, I will be very happy to talk to those of you that already work with refugees to see if you can join this initiative in December in Geneva. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Edelmira. Ahmed, I think that you are next.
Hello? Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ahmed Kharouf. I'm from Generations for Peace, based in Jordan. Actually, I'm going to refer for Generations for Peace as a GFP. So GFP is a... I have just one video, so it's fine. Thank you. Generations for Peace, it's a global NGO based in Jordan. We have worked in 52 countries, Asia, Europe, Asia, and North Africa and North America. Actually, we have trained over 22,000 youth, and we engage with over 1.5 million children, youth, and adults. Actually, using an entry point for our context in the countries, vehicles, which is sport, arts, and dialogue, advocacy, empowerment, and media for peace. These vehicles that we use it for entry point for any context, even safe or not safe. And we work on the conflict transformation and peace building. And actually, I'm gonna leave you with the one video. I don't know if it's work. So maybe, we can see how we apply our work.
اسمي حمزة علي علوش، عمري 14 سنة، أنا من سوريا. أنا أحد الطلبة اللي شاركت في برنامج نشاطاتي في مدرسة النقص الأساسية للبنين.
هذا النشاط سيطبق فيه إن شاء الله ضمن تعبير التغيير، ضمان الدمج مع بعضنا البعض. رايحين نكون نندمج مع بعضنا في هذا النشاط.
قبل ما أشارك فيه كان عندي خوف، كنت ضعيف الشخصية، ما عندي إرادة ولا أهداف. لكن لما شاركت في برنامج نشاطاتي زاد من الشخصية اللي عندي، زاد من قوة الشخصية اللي عندي والتوعية اللي عندي والثقافة اللي عندي والأفكار. اشتركت في هذا البرنامج وعن جد كان كثير حلو، يعني بلشنا نختلط مع الناس، صار عندي أصدقاء جدد. يعني مثلا نأخذ مثلا القائد الجيد، القائد السيء، الأفكار الناقدة، العمل التطوعي، العمل بروح الفريق، هذول كنا ناخذهن وكنا نطبقهن مع الألعاب. يعني نلعب ونطبق هذا الشيء. يعني مثلا أكثر مثلا لعبة حبيتها اللي هي العمل الجماعي. العمل الجماعي إنه كيف يكون القائد مخطط لهذا الشيء، عنده تخطيط، عنده دقة، عنده كل شيء، يقسم الفريق. يعني يقسم الفريق، يعني كل واحد له، كل فرد له مكانته.
بنرحب فيكم برنامج نشاطاتي. طبعا اليوم راح يكون في عندنا تطبيق لنشاط اللي هو القيادة، والقائد الناجح والقائد الايش؟ السيء. ممتازين.
كنا نلعب لعبة اللي هي تمرير كرة بين بعضنا، إنه لما واحد يمرر للثاني الكرة لا بصير يحكي عن حاله معلومات، الشيء اللي بيحبه والشيء اللي ما بيحبه. فتعلمنا إنه هذا الشيء إنه نصير نراعي بعضنا ونصير نحب بعضنا، فهذا بيألف بين القلوب الأشخاص. حبيت هالبرنامج لأنه كان في تفاعل بيناتنا وحب، ونبطل في بيناتنا عنف.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Hamed. Yeah, we will continue then asking you more questions about the video and the work that you are doing. Perrine, can you jump in, please?
Okay. Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Perrine. We are Football Mass, and we use sport to transform realities. I think you have seen in the game before from Football Mass a little bit of our methodology. So I will tell just more in details what we do. If it works, yeah. So what we really do, we always put the children and young people at the center to promote their well-being, and we use sport to do it. But very concretely, what we created as a methodology is we mix two elements, and in every activity we do, just like you experienced before, we mix two elements. One sports element that can be tactical, technical content, for example, control of the ball, if we talk about football, and one social content, social emotional content, which can be, for example, conflict resolution. And in this base of these two elements, we mix it, we integrate it, and we create a social sports session and a social sport program for children and youth. We do it in different contexts. Football Mass is a Chilean organization created 16 years ago, and now we have presence in 11 countries, and it started in the neighborhood, in very vulnerable neighborhood of Santiago, Chile. And then we expanded the methodology to different contexts. So we can also apply the methodology in school, for example, after natural disasters, and also, and each day more, in refugee context with displaced persons. There, yeah. So actually, right now we have presence in 11 countries of 3 continents: South America, Europe, and Africa, and especially with the refugee program, which we call mobility program. Oh, sorry. Yeah, our work with refugee, we have had programs in 6 countries, which are Mexico, Peru, Chile, France, Spain, and Kenya. For today, I will focus on 2 examples when in the conversation afterwards. We will talk a little bit about the case of Mexico, where we will follow a little bit the program of the migration caravans, people from Central America fleeing their country, going through Mexico, hoping to enter the United States of America. And the second one that I will mention is the Kakuma refugee camps. So we're in Africa, in Kenya. Kakuma refugee camp is one of the biggest in the world, and usually persons who are fleeing also from South Sudan, but also Ethiopia, Uganda, fleeing from very violent context, and getting to this huge refugee camp in the north of Kenya. Just to end, I just want to let you with this drawing that was from a Mexican girl in one of our programs. Telling about her experience going from Guatemala to Mexico. And she represented her and her cousin at the back of a truck, and the sentence said, I traveled in a truck with my cousin, and negotiate with strangers is quite a challenge. And she drew some dollar bills there. So obviously this is a situation that shouldn't happen for children. We should never see this kind of situation, but the reality is that it is happening. So what can we do really to make a change and use sport to make a change? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Perrine. We will finish with you, Alexandra.
Thank you. Perrine, may I ask you to assist me and click?
Yes, of course. You make me the same.
You're looking very confident to do it. Thank you. So my name is Alexandra Bolek. I'm Secretary General.
Sorry.
Thank you, Katerina. So I represent Ukraine Active. It's a non-profit organization in Ukraine. And I would like to share today experience how everything changed since the beginning of Russian-Ukrainian war. So our organization believes that sport is a unique and undervalued tool in achieving mutual understanding, friendship, and ultimately a better world. Till the beginning of the war, we knocked to each institution, each door, trying to cooperate, because it's obvious that in my country it was quite hard talking about public sector, talking about government to cooperate together. Since the beginning of war, everything changed. And at this moment, we have a strong partnership in our country. So please, next slide. So before everything happened, we were focused on promotion of physical activity among Ukrainians, because physical activity is important for well-being and so on. And a second direction of our activity was Active Children, Healthy Nation. We started to reform our educational system in Ukraine, providing children an opportunity to choose whatever they want, nobody losers and so on. So equal approach and inclusive as well. So please, next slide. But February 24, 2022 is the day when everything changed for us. Millions of displaced people, ruined sports infrastructure, mined territories, decreasing economic capacity, anxiety, due to which, of course, level of physical activity decreases as well. And we have to do something with this. So now we have a third direction of our activity. It's support a refugee in the condition of war. Here you can find just the names of some projects that we already implemented in my country and abroad. It's Be Active for Peace projects. It consists two directions. First one, it's online challenge for schools in Ukraine. Together with our partner, Act for Health Foundation, we implement this project, and the main case was to include internally displaced children to participate in this online challenge. After this, all the schools received sports equipment. This was really nice. Then we organize Health Fest. It's currently actual projects as well. We are currently focused on organizing these fests in deoccupied territories. It's about the promotion of physical activity, well-being, and mental health. So we are working on it as well. Then a Be Active Day project. It was a project that we were supposed to implement before war. And our European partners told us, no, it's not possible. You cannot do it in your country. But actually, after we did it, we achieved all the results and even more. So we have 14,000 offline participants and more than 200,000 online interactions. And of course, I cannot not mention cooperation with ISKA in framework of International Refugees Through Sport Ukraine project and webinars that we organized in May. It was pretty successful. We organized a great experience exchange. A lot of our Ukrainian specialists joined this initiative. Maybe some of you even visited it as well. And please, next slide. I think during our next panel discussion, I will tell more about these projects. But at this moment, just let's keep in touch, and we'll be happy to share our experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for sharing a little bit of the work that you are doing, even with this short time. I would like to take back again the idea that we started at the beginning of the use of sport as a universal language. And I would like, Ibrahim, starting with you. And thank you very much for sharing your experience with us. And from your own personal experience, how do you see and how did you felt sport as a universal language?
For me, sport was so useful and positive. When I arrived to Spain, as I told you, I can't able to speak Spanish, and my English is also bad, and I can't do connection with the people. I was in a hostel, and my roommate, I want to start with an example that I had this experience. I had a roommate from the Senegal, and every day he go out. I was just lying in my bed and using my phone for a study, and one day he told me in Spanish, "Quieres jugar fútbol?" It means that you want to go to play football, and I wasn't able to understand, just confused and look him. Then he showed me the ball. If you want to go, vamos, vamos. And the first day, I went out, make connection, communication with the people, and start playing football. And it forced me to understand, to speak Spanish, to know what's going on in here. And then by time I go better, and finally I arrived in the Spain national team. The refugees, it's so proud for me. And I am now playing with the many nations. We know many religions, many cultures, and we have a good communication. It is all about football, and football make me to came in here. Now I'm standing in here and talking. And we have many teammates from Ukraine, Senegal, Morocco, Colombia, Afghanistan. We are like a family. We are enjoying playing football and passing our time. You know, when we came here with broken hearts, you know, refugee is a word that something forced us to be in this situation. You planned all your life for do something for the future, you lose it all. And when we came here and know this organization that was helping us, like we was participating that in Unity Cup, I saw there many faces, many good connections, different colors. There was like we are the same. We can understand each other with seeing in our eyes. We didn't need to talk. And it's so good. Now our team is going to be bigger. And when we went to the Alemania, Germany for the football, we know more people, more cultures. And sport gather us together to be like family, to knowing each other and having fun and enjoy our life like a normal person. You know, in our countries, you can't be like a normal. You don't have any safety, you don't have any security to play football, to do some facility, to do some activity. But in here, I'm sometimes thinking that I'm like a child that I'm growing like 8 years or 9 years old, and I'm going to growing up. And then my country wasn't like this. All nights I was sitting and watching football. One day I was thinking, maybe one day I go and come sit in here in Spain, see the real teams, the real stadiums. Unfortunately, thanks of all the Spain government, all people who helped us. I'm here and enjoying my life.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ibrahim. I think that was a beautiful example of how playing football can be used as a language that you can understand with other people, even if we were coming from different countries. Thank you, Ibrahim. Alexandra, I'm going to go with you and following again this same idea of sport as an universal language. In your experience and the experience of Ukraine, how do you have been practicing this in your project and in your organization?
Okay, Elena, thank you for your question. I would like to answer to this question from two perspectives, from personal experience and from our organization experience. When we started, I'm also more or less currently a refugee. I live in Germany. I just would like to tell how much we are grateful for European community. Everybody texts me, everybody proposed to join them. And the same for our athletes. I also work in some federations. They immediately propose a place to continue to train, to be, integrated to this new community. But the Ukrainians are a little bit specific because even after 2 years of the war, they still don't know if they're gonna stay in this country or not. So it's a quite controversial thing for them. Somebody made this decision, somebody not. But I must tell a lot of children, especially young people, integrated successfully. For instance, my sister, she never spoke German language. And I think it's intuitively parents bring their children to sports when they are abroad, It's like natural thing because it's something, the most easy way to communicate, yeah? That's happened with my sister. I must tell that after she goes to basketball in Germany, I'm not telling that she improved her German language a lot, but she felt herself much more better. She smiled more, that's how it's working. It was game for fun, for interaction and so on. Also, I have another example of one family who moved to United States. One guy also was totally frustrated, totally, without any feelings. And when their parents bring him to rugby, now he is happy. This is just some examples. And talking about our organization, when we implement Be Active for Peace projects, we provide, thanks to our partners in Poland, Romania, other countries, an opportunity for coaches from Ukraine who flee the war continue to work. So, in the meanwhile, they receive salary and they invite other refugees to do workouts together with local community for free. Mm-hmm. So, that's how it works as well.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. And I would like to move, we have been talking about the experience of Ibrahim from Afghanistan and how is it currently happening in Ukraine as well. But Perrine, I would like to ask you about how is the work and how this is used as a universal language as well in the examples that you mentioned in Mexico and Kenya.
Yeah, for this question I will focus on Kenya especially. So the context I told you before, Kakuma refugee camp at the north of Kenya. It's a camp that exists since 1992, so many years now. Was supposed to be temporary, but lasts and more people are coming in every day. Many from South Sudan, so escaping from very, very violent context, civil war. And then they get to Kakuma, and many people have been there for 10 years. They are waiting for some administrative decision, but some few can leave the camp afterwards. Maybe a lot of them get stuck in this refugee camp where their basic needs are covered. I mean, they have food, they have shelter, they have schools and medical centers, but there is not much to do. There is no much hope to go to a better future. There is, people are waiting there, waiting for something to happen. something that is very unlikely to happen and something that doesn't depend on them. So many of them lose a little bit their social role, and more of everything, they lose hope. And there was an investigation in Kakuma a few years ago, where they asked many refugees of Kakuma what was the worst feeling they were feeling, the worst emotion they were feeling. And so we could imagine it would be fear, maybe stress, anxiety, anger, but no, the main one was hopelessness. And it was, very impressive, the results. Hopelessness was the first one, and from far away. So in this context, they're waiting for something to happen, nothing happens, and then with Football Mass we got to the camp, and then something happens, balls playing, children laughing, shouting, games, and colors, and all of a sudden the reality changes a little bit, something changes. In such context, the sports can really make a difference, and especially if we integrate some emotional content and content that allow children to work on their resilience, to hope for a better future. So we really see sport as a social magnet that also helps to pass the differences. You can see in the camp that maybe they were organized by nationality. There is a lot of different religion, different cultural backgrounds, but in the social sessions, all children are welcome. There is no judgment. Everyone can participate, and even the adults, the community, because in Football Mass we never work only with children. We always involve the community, so it becomes something very important for people. And we see it in the results, actually. We see that children start to feel safer, to increase their self-esteem also, and to increase their capacity to deal with difficulties, their resilience. So, it's a kind of way for them to feel part of a big and beautiful community and change a little bit their reality.
Yeah, and also as we saw in the game before, like how to play with people from different backgrounds as well, as what they have in the campus also. Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. And I would like to move on now from sport as a universal language and pick up the idea that you mentioned earlier, Edelmira, about a sport for protection and how the UN is working using sport as a tool for creating safe spaces.
Yes, I think I will pick up a little bit what others have mentioned. Pervin just mentioned how the sport creates a safe space, and Ibrahim was saying how by playing football he would feel freedom and joy and resilient. This is particularly important in emergencies, and Alexandra mentioned the situation in Ukraine. People that might be now in Poland, but they are willing to go back. So this is what they are expecting, so they don't really know. Okay. Sorry. So in emergencies, when you don't know if you will be able to go back, because most refugees, I would say all refugees, want to go back home. It's not the choice to leave your country. It's the way you save your life. But also like in protracted situations, and then Perrine mentioned Kakuma. Having kids, children, young people playing on a playground, on a pitch, it's very important for them. They feel better, but it's also important for the humanitarian staff because they feel safe and they are joined. But we are also observing them, seeing if they have been separated from their families, if they have specific needs, if they need to be involved in the school because they are not following the studies anymore, so we can refer them. So this is also a way to promote their protection beyond being this moment playing sports. This is also important for girls and women. Girls and women, refugee girls and women usually keep a very low profile. They are in the second row. They are like second-class refugee. This is very sad, but this is reality. So when we organize, let's say, tailored programs for women and girls, or that include women and girls, we can already help them to feel empowered, to develop their leadership, but also to provide them information. This is for girls and women, but also for the rest. You can provide information in a safe space. You can talk about sexual education. You can also talk about how to prevent sexual gender violence or abuse. So the pitch, the playground, has many layers that can be used to protect beyond the game. I will give an example in Europe because my colleagues are talking about other countries, and I don't know where you're from. I don't know where you live in. But for example, in Catalonia, we have there's a football club called Ramassa. What they do, they promote integration of refugee women and asylum seekers football, which is very good. You might see these women and girls, they might have never seen a football ball or never run, but at least they know that 2 days per week they can go to that place to enjoy, to meet others, and to develop their skills. They feel empowered, they feel important. What they do in this football club is side initiatives. For example, gatherings with the host society. So it's very good to promote sports for refugees, but it's better if you include them in the society, not leaving them in ghettos, in a separate space. So they promote these gatherings with the neighborhood, with the different groups of the society, or they try to promote their labor integration by finding mentors that can help them to find a job. So there are many things that you can do beyond kicking the ball in order to better protect refugees and make them feel safe and secure.
Thank you. I think it's something very important that you said is feeling safe not only when you are practicing this sport activity. It's not only about physical safetiness, but it's also about emotional safetiness, about having a group of people that support you, having a network. And that's helped you to build up as a person as well and build up your confidence. Yeah. Hamed, I know that that is something very important for Generations for Peace and part of your work, the generation of safe spaces.
Yeah, thank you, Elena. Okay. So in Generations for Peace, actually, we're working on creating inclusive and protected environment. Also, we're focusing on establishing safe child-safe spaces, which include in special needs and unique needs, and also for the refugees. And also, we working with those spaces to provide the people with supportive environments to engage them, to give them the space to participate in sport, and also to enhance their cohesion. And also, actually, by creating the safe spaces, also we give them the opportunity to build their fitness, stress out, also to enhance the belonging for them. So all these, like my friends that speak about it, like it's almost like it's same, but different countries doing it in a different way. For example, in the Middle East, we don't have, let's say, the luxury of safe spaces, that we have a football pitch and it's nice and everyone can enter it. In Jordan, let's say, creating a safe space, that means I can have a space, bring them together without any judgment on anyone. If it's a refugee, if it's a host community, so by this safe spaces, I can give them the opportunity to speak, the opportunity to talk, the opportunity to participate without any judgment, without anyone talk about anything, let's say, they might harmful for them. Mm-hmm. So in this way that we can create a safe space that they promote their self, they can feel like I have a sense of belonging, I'm self-confidence, or enhancing cohesion with the host communities itself.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matt. We're running a little bit out of time, so to finalize, I would like to ask you the next ones to be a little bit brief, so then we can just cover a little bit everything. So Perrine, I would like you to very briefly tell us just a little bit more about what is it that Football Mass is doing, specifically for safe spaces, very briefly.
Okay, very briefly. So, yeah, in Football Mass, we always, the protected space is the base of the methodology also. And I wanted to talk about the case of Mexico, but maybe I will skip the detailed case if I don't have so much time. But I think it's very important that to understand that sometimes a refugee in this context, for example, if you remember the drawing from the girl from Guatemala to Mexico, and these conditions where they are transported at the back of a truck or they have to walk for days and days, sometimes in the process you lose a bit of dignity, you know, human dignity. And so that's what also we try to do always with Football Mass. So when they get to the shelter, the refugee shelter in Mexico, they receive a warm welcome, respect, everyone is valued as equal, and there is some very simple things that many times during their travel they didn't receive. never. So yeah, we see the impact of well-being in the children. But also we think it's very, very important to visualize the well-being of caregivers. That's also a learning we had from our experience in Mexico. Professionals from NGO that are working in this context are living and working in very difficult context, and it's very important to have the professionals that are trained and receive the monitoring, the follow-up, the psychological follow-up also, to be able to work with children, because we cannot guarantee children's well-being if we do not work with the caregivers' well-being also.
Yeah, thank you, Perrine. And just to finish this round of this question, Ibrahim, we have been talking about resilience, we have been talking about emotional safe spaces. From your own personal experience, what can you tell us about that?
When we are talking about safety, I'm trying to tell you that you should feel the activity, the duty that you are doing it. It's not just football, maybe work, maybe another duty. You should enjoy it, you should feel it. In here we can feel this emotional, this feeling we can understand. But in my country and many foreign countries that their security is not good, we can't feel these moments, you know? And when I go to the playground, see the faces, we all have our own and personal problems in our countries, so far from family, economical problem. Every refugee has the same problem. But when we go to the camp and trying to play or train, we forget everything. We just trying to enjoy the moment. When we saw the faces of my teammates, we are like the most lucky people in the world, because in my country these things are so unnormal. And when I arrived here and saw the camps, play with the girls, play with the boys, trying to be active, it was so weird and surprise and new for me, you know, because I hadn't like this experience in my country. Just even me, no. Also, I'm talking about all refugees, all my teammates. And we are enjoying doing football in a safe area, without fear, without any obligation. Yeah. And for now, it is going so good.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I want to tell you another story. In the past week, I met a famous football player. You know, for me and for other refugees, it's like we are walking in our dreams. When I saw him, I just focused, then go and touch him. Are you real? And he laughed, yes, I am real. And I tell him some stories that I was saying in this night he was playing, and I love you, like this. For the first 2 minutes, believe me, I can't confuse on myself, because I was thinking maybe my eyes have problem. I obligate to go and touch him. Are you real? And when you are walking in dreams, when you are doing something that it's new and you love it, I can't say in words. I just can feel it. Some feeling I can't. All of us, we have some feeling that we can't tell in the word, in the sentence. But I know, and my teammates and the people who are doing and active and playing with us.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that you say it quite rightly when you say enjoyment and happiness. I think that is a feeling that comes out when you feel safe, when you feel protected, and when you feel in an environment where you are safe. Okay, so there were one more question. We are not going to have time for going for it, but we are going to still here, and then we are going to be doing like a roundtables as well. So if you have questions and if we want to continue conversations with them, they're still going to be around with us for a little bit longer. Thank you.